Hello again. Here to finish up the quotations, quotation marks file. I do want to go back just a second to direct quotations. So if you find that one again, I forgot to tell you, and this is very important, that you do not use quotation marks for indirect quotations. And let me show you what I mean by that. If, for example, I say that John told me actually, let's not even do that. Let's go with John said his car is blue. That's called an indirect quote. I am telling you what he said. I'm telling you the gist of what he said, but I am not telling you in his words what he said. So there is a slight difference there between his direct quote, what's in the speech bubble, and what you heard him say. So this is called an indirect quote, and it does not get quotation marks. Only the things that you would find in these speech bubbles would get a quotation mark. Okay? Alright, another one. Let's look at titles. This one is probably, I think, at least for me, I use this one much more often than direct quotes because I don't use direct quotes very often. But you will use quotation marks. And I don't know if you guys can hear the storm that's going on here at my house. The thunder is unbelievable. It's literally shaking the house. Use quotation marks around titles of publications. I don't want you just to think print, that are part of bigger publications. When I learned this rule, they just told me to use quotation marks around the small works. So things like songs, poems, book chapters, short stories, those smaller things that are part of a bigger thing. So, for example, I have a book of short stories, and one of them is called The Gift of the Magi. It's just a short story that's part of a bigger book. So you don't underline or italicize this one because it's just one story in that book. Songs are another thing that would get quotation marks. And you want to follow the capitalization rules that you learned about capitalizing these titles. But you want to follow the quotation marks because this is a song. So, the Star Spangled Banner. Poems. I had a poem and it just left me. The Raven. That's a poem by Edgar Allan Poe. That wasn't the one I was thinking of, but it'll work. Poems, songs, short stories, anything small like that. Chapters of books would be one. The book is the big thing, the big work, and then the chapters would get quotation marks. All right, there is one exception to the punctuation rule regarding question marks. So let me give you the rule and then we'll look at it. When a question and this is a very obscure rule, ends with a title in quotations, place the question mark outside. This is the only time that I can think of that the punctuation mark goes outside the quote. And let me show you a sentence that will help. Have you read The Monkey's Paw? That's a short story. It's not a novel. It's a small short story. Okay. And here's what I'm talking about. You put your title in quotation marks and then your question mark. This is the only time that I can think of that question mark would go outside the quote. Normally it's going to sit right in there, but it is not part of the title. It's the question mark for this whole sentence. Here's another one. Do you like the song America? So America is the title of the song, and then I'm asking you if you like that song. So the question mark goes outside of that title. I do not think you will encounter this on a multiple choice test, but if you're writing an essay, this is very good to use the proper form of the punctuation. That says a lot about you as a writer, that you know your punctuation rules. Okay, that brings us to the end of the rules for quotation marks. You just cut those out and assemble them the way we have the pieces before them. And I'll see you in the next video for one more of these files. I believe it's on using end marks. I can't remember, but I think there's one more of these. So I'll see you soon. Have a good day.